Good morning, beloved. Peace be with you. As we draw near to the end of the letter to the Hebrews, we are beginning now chapter 13, and these first few verses we could say are just kind of good behavior for church members. And so he's kind of wrapping some things up. So we kind of want to step through and just comment on a couple of these. This is one of the only places in the New Testament where that word love is actually not the word agape. Now, almost every other place it is, but here, these two words for love, in both times it's mentioned, are actually from philos, or what he says at the beginning here, let brotherly love continue. So it's like a family kinship love. It's actually not agape, God's unconditional, no strings attached kind of love. But he's focusing, that's why we say this is kind of church behavior, because he's focusing on family. The church really should be one corporate body, family of God, one corporate, a visible body of God and his family on earth. So he begins to instruct. So as we just say these again, we want to think, how well am I living this out individually? And then how well am I living this out corporately in the body of Christ? A lot of people are doing well with these individually, but then they'll just come to church and they don't do anything. And it's important. Every single person in the church has to serve in the church. Every single person has to serve. If you're not serving, then you're not like Jesus. Because Jesus said, I came not to be served, but to serve, and to give my life. And so we can't just show up and receive, get served. We have to be serving in the body in some way. And so we want to look at these, both how well am I doing this individually when I'm not here, and how well am I doing this when I am here. So the first one, let brotherly love continue. Well, there we go. We can just stop right there, Let brotherly love continue. How well do I love my brothers and sisters when I'm not in church? And how well do I love my brothers and sisters who are in church? Do I even know half of their names? Do I even know, the people's names next to me that I worship with, that I worship next to Sunday after Sunday, day after day? Can I have brotherly family love for somebody I don't even say hi to? Do I hang out after the Mass, especially on the Fellowship Sunday, just to meet another person, to be present, and to actually have fellowship? If I'm not feeding into the fellowship of the community, I don't have brotherly love. Brotherly love can't continue without my presence feeding the fellowship. So what are we doing to continue our own biological families at home, to continue that brotherly, sisterly love? And what are we doing here to build up this community? Do not neglect hospitality. Number 2, both in your own home, but especially when you're here. It's funny, they did the survey, I don't know, probably a year ago now, and they had all these questions asking about your church, your own parish, and we didn't really publish the results because it was kind of skewed, I felt like, but with the questions. But one of the questions was, is your church, is your parish hospitable or welcoming? However you want to word it, and maybe I forget what ours was, but let's say the parish said it was low. 25% say, yeah, it's welcoming. The rest say, no, we don't have a very welcoming place, The follow-up question is, what are you willing to do to make it welcoming, right? Especially if you're one of those people who said, I don't feel like my parish is very welcoming. Okay, well, what are you doing to make it welcoming, Do not neglect hospitality. What are you doing to greet people? Not just to even come. The first step is to come and build fellowship and continue to say hi and build those relationships with people who are always here. What about looking even beyond that for the new people? Hey, I don't recognize you. You must be a visitor. Where are you from? Here's my name. What's your name? And building those connections. That's hospitality right there, What are we doing to build that within the own, body of Christ, the parish community? Some people are wonderful, and they just go out there and greet everybody and smile and say, we're so glad you're here. I don't even know you, but I'm glad you're here, right? That's just a great beginning. So again, we're asking, how well do I provide hospitality at my own home or in my own circle of community? And then when I come here too, building up the body of the community. These are not just for, oh yeah, we don't have a very welcoming parish because I don't feel like our priest is very welcoming, It's all about if the priest was more welcoming, we would be welcoming, It's not one person. We're one body, a whole body, many members. And he tries to give some encouragement. Do not neglect hospitality, because through it, some people have unknowingly entertained angels. See, like the strangers that walk in and out of your life on a day-to-day basis, and that walk in and out of the church on a day-to-day basis. How many times have we unknowingly entertained and been hospitable to angels? Maybe they look like homeless people. They probably didn't come in looking all glorious with a halo on their head, right? How many times were we not hospitable to angels because they didn't look like very appealing to us, in our own circle and in the church? He's continuing the family, one body aspect. Be mindful of prisoners as if you're sharing their imprisonment. And of the ill-treated, as of your very self, as if you're the one being ill-treated. For you are also in the body, one body. If I smash your toe, the rest of your body's going to hurt too. You're going to feel that sharp pain. And so when we see when somebody's imprisoned unjustly and ill-treated, that should shoot a sharp pain through the body of Christ. We should feel it as if it's our own self. This one connects with the gospel. Let marriage be honored among all. How well are we honoring our own marriages? How well do we honor marriage in the body as a corporate body? Let the marriage bed be kept undefiled, for God will judge the immoral and adulterers. Christians have very specific truths and teachings regarding marriage. 4 pillars. You freely enter marriage. Nobody forces you into it. You have to be faithful. Marriage is exclusive, so we have fidelity, faithfulness. There's no openness in marriage. You don't bring in other people into the marriage bed. This, to me, it sounds like common sense, but people in the church, I hear confessions, Freedom, faithfulness for life. Well, this is too hard. You're dang right it's hard. So is every vocation that's going to get you to heaven. It's hard. This is for life? Yes, that's a commitment. Through the ups and downs, through the sickness and health, through the death till we part. And open to life. Marriage is an imitation of God's own life. Thank God He is open to life, or we wouldn't exist today. So our marriages have to be open to life. Otherwise, we're not faithful images of God Himself. We're actually false images of God. We're presenting a false God through our marriages in the world if we're not open to life. This is why artificial contraception doesn't work. Those things don't work. because they don't reflect God. The whole reason we exist, we were made to become images and likenesses of God. That means God at any moment of the day should be able to point to any one of us and say, hey, you see that person? That's me. That's me. A living, breathing, we show people pictures of, oh, see, here's me when I was my birthday, and here's me at this time, and here's this person. And God doesn't show pictures to people, and he's not hanging out there and the angel's like, look at this picture of me. He says, no, look at this living image of me. Look, there they are. Look, there's me, and there's me, and there's me, and there's me. And if we're not doing that, we're not even fulfilling our purpose. Thank God he's patient with us. Now, the last one, let your life be free from love of money. Again, actually, that word is the family love, philos, brotherly, sisterly love. Don't love money like a brother or sister. We should be able to take or leave money, not take or leave our brothers and sisters. There's a family bond, kinship that keeps us with brothers and sisters, but we don't need a family bond that keeps us tied to our money. And the key here is let your life be free from love of money. You and I should not be enslaved or oppressed or always thinking about, do I have enough money? I've got to get more money. Do I have enough for this? Like, our life should not be revolving. When you love something, you begin to revolve and center your life on it. And you're thinking about it a lot. Money should not be that for us. It should not be something we revolve our life around or center our life on, not something we're thinking about all the time. We should be thinking about family all the time, the body of Christ all the time, God the Father all the time, So the key there is freedom. So there's no hooks in you that are limiting your freedom, because if anything limits our freedom, it's limiting our ability to love, to give ourselves. We go all the way down to the bottom, and just the very last verse, he says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That means all these things, these truths that we just spoke, or every truth about God, never, ever changes. Never changes. The truth about marriage and what marriage is, that how he originally created it between one man and one woman for life, all the way back in Genesis chapter 2, that truth never changes, no matter society. Society can change, they can redefine whatever they want, but the reality of true marriage never changes. God's truths never change. That's the beauty. He's always dependable. He's always reliable. His truths are a steady rock we can build our lives on, because they will never change. Everything else in this world changes. Everything society declares changes. Every law civil authorities make changes. Not God, not his truth. Never changes. If it was true in Genesis chapter 2, it's true today, and it will be true 2,000 years from now. And that's helpful for us. We can always rely on God. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the Bible. You just do whatever you wanted, because things would always be changing, and there'd be no real truth. But thankfully, there's truth. Jesus, he's the same, yesterday, today, forever. If he taught it 2,000 years ago, it's still true today. And it will still be true 2,000 years from now. And that's the rock we can walk and build our lives on. Which one of these do you want to practice or grow into today in your own personal life? Or which one of these do you want to practice and grow into in the corporate life of the church as well?